In a world where survival is the only rule and feelings have no place, where winning is everything and weakness is fatal, how much difference can one person make? That depends on the person.
I made this.
1, 2, testing.
Hang on. Oh, this isn't on. Okay.
Testing. Testing.
Yeah, you're
1,
on.
2, testing.
I'm Steve Blyth from J Racenstein, and welcome to East Rutherford. Behind us we have the Passaic River, kind of slow moving through here. We have a crew house down here where they put in boats and row down along the river. Across from us Passaic, and this is the beginning of East Rutherford, which takes you over to the Giants and Jets Stadium. And from this nice idyllic setting, I'll take you through and show you the office and warehouse space. Just moved in, so we haven't finished our presentation area for items, but the intention of this area is to be able to put items out for customers to be able to touch and feel and hold. And then have the customer service sales reps here available to them to be able to ask questions, same people you call into. In the back we have a conference room and general management offices. And through here, we have our demonstration area. So we built a wall with both residential and commercial style glass and a big 8-foot by 4-foot glass panel to be able to clean glass. J Racenstein has moved a couple of times. This started back when Joe decided that he didn't want to have his goods stored under the bed in his apartment anymore. And he opened a little shop down on Canal Street in Manhattan. And then a couple of decades later, he moved that to Houston and Broadway, where there's currently a Crate and Barrel store. If you go there, you'll see there's a little curved window on the second floor, and J Racenstein was up at that curved window. Then when Bob Ertel got involved with Marty, they moved it up towards the train station because they were out on Long Island. And they were there until 2005 when the lease was up after we purchased J Racenstein, Cameron and I and Jack. And we moved to Secaucus 10 years ago. And that was a good space for us at the time, but it was limited in customer service value and square footage. The customer service workers in our environment, salespeople, were on a second floor from the warehouse, and we just outgrew, and the business needed to be in a better space. So you can see the aisle here for the pallet rack positions. The forklift is located generally during the day here out of the way, unless it needs to lift something up onto a fork position. Then chemical alley. Chemicals are available for cleaning all kinds of different surfaces, and rope supports and poles back in the back in their pole bins for the items that aren't picked on the carousel. Once an order is picked, it's packaged in these packaging stations and set up to be sent out through the carriers that we use to send you your product. So we looked around, and there's not a lot of space in our environment, that 15,000 that I would need if I was to continue to package and inventory the same way I am now. And we needed to look at alternative ways to package ourselves. So I started looking at improving the density of our warehouse space. The first thing I looked at was the narrow aisle forklifts. So instead of a 12-foot aisle, we're working within a 7-foot aisle. And that gives us extra space per aisle to be able to store more pallets. The forklift is special that runs down the aisle. It has a fork that's able to turn sideways and grab the material and pull it off without the whole forklift having to turn sideways and needing that extra width. So that picked up a bunch of square feet. But it wasn't enough. We had about 6,000, almost 5,500 square feet that was just in storage racking. And that storage racking was honeycombed. So what happens is you have a little bit of parts in a bin this wide in the front of a bin and a whole bunch of space behind it, because the part next to it's 24 inches long. So you'd have a little bit of part in the next one, and it just had a lot of open space that you couldn't use. So we looked into how could I get my products into better bin spacing and at the same time be able to get that bin compressed into less space. So we looked first at vertical carousels, a carousel that rotates up and around and back on itself. And that wasn't enough density for as many items as we have that we were contemplating. So we looked at what's called a horizontal carousel, and then what we chose is a 28-inch wide carousel shelf, 12 feet high of binning space, so you can put shelves for 12 feet high. And that 28-foot by 12-foot high bin with all the shelves on it can then rotate around on a long track, 2 of those side by side. We ended up with 2 26 bin systems, about 45 feet of space, and the at 12 foot high, so a total of 52 bins. About 3,500 items could be placed on the carousel. This allowed us to take probably 5,000 square feet of space and shrink it down to maybe 1,500, and that has allowed us to stay in a very small footprint, yet have room for growth. There are other advantages in that, similar to when you go to your laundry, your Chinese laundry, and they want to pull in your order of shirts that you cleaned. They push a button and they bring the shirts around to the operator, who pulls them off the rack and hands them to you. And I was discussing this with my wife. She says, you know, the worst thing that ever happens when you go to some new area is you got to go to the grocery store and try to stock up for the week. And you don't know where anything is. Where's the jelly? Where's the honey? Where do I get the milk? How do I get the cold cuts for the deli sandwiches? And you're searching around the store. And that was a lot like our old warehouse. Wouldn't it be nice if, like the laundromat, you could just have the jelly aisle brought to you and you could choose the jelly. And then say, I'm ready for the breads now, and have the breads brought around and pick out your different breads that you'd like, and say, now I'm ready for the fruits and vegetables. And the fruits and vegetables were brought to you instead of you having to wander around the store. And that's essentially what we've done with the carousel. The next step after identifying what I'd like to put away is the carousel has read through the things that we've scanned in and said, oh, I'm going to bring across the bins for you to put these things away. And the first item I'd like you to do is to grab the 5th item you scan, for 12 of them, these channels, and put them away. It's going to go into A19E2. The light bar tells us here that the second bin on this level, if it was in a different level, it would light the light bar up here. Put away 12. A19E2. Already have some channels in there. Put them away. Move on to the next item, which is Golden Glove sleeves, 11, a dozen of those. So that would be these. The carousel allows you to put all the product in wherever it needs to be, and when you ask the carousel for that product again, it brings the bin to the operator. And with 2, it can be rotating one bin while the operator is picking from the other. And this allows us to not have aisle space, improve the quality of picking because we don't have same parts next to each other now. So when you go to pick a product out of the bin, it's unlikely to have another part like it right next to it. So it improves picking accuracy. So we're working on a platform, and that platform has a picture of the product that they're supposed to pick as well. So now they can verify the product. It's unlikely to have a product like it next to it in the bin. The product is brought to them, so they're not having to walk to it and then try to find it. The space is stored all the way up to 12 feet high. Interesting, but we don't have a lot of NBA guys that can reach 12 feet high that are coming out wanting to work for us, so we put in a lifting table. So the lifting table lifts you up, and the system starts picking from the high pick points. And then when you finish that picking area, it lowers down and allows you to pick from the lower pick point. So the products are logically arranged into 4 quadrants for quickly picking in one cycle the orders. If you did this one order at a time, you wouldn't get a whole lot of extra speed. And so what we put in was the ability to pick 14 individual orders at a time, 7 on a row and 7 below it. By picking 14 orders at a time, it's one rotation of the carousels at the high level and another rotation at the low level, and all the bins are full. Turning out that about 75-80% of the orders are picked complete right off the carousel.
Picking a single order, type in the order number 2404162. We're gonna enter it. It's telling us to go up. So I need to come this way, watch yourself. I'm gonna turn on the carousel. I'm gonna come here, reposition the carousel. It's gonna start spinning. For this single pick, I gotta pick out 3 items. We're going up. You see the light blinking? So it's telling us it's up there. Watch yourself. We're going to bin number B23Q2. Which is over here. It's asking me for 3. So I will put it in this bin here.
Once the pull from the warehouse items are picked and married up with what came off the carousel, the order gets picked and packed and sent off to the customer. Quicker, more accuracy, and a lot less square footage space.